House, please come to order. Welcome to the closing ceremony of the PASMUN 2023. We hope you enjoyed the stay so far. As we commence the closing ceremony, the respective presidents and chairs of each committee will make their committee reports. Please welcome Middle School HRC President Lydia Chen and Deputy President Lin Yu.
Honorable Secretariat, Directors, Officers, Delegates, Dedicated Press Team, and most esteemed guests. I'm Lydia Chen, a senior at American School in Taichung and the president of MSHRC.
And I'm Lin Yu, a sophomore from Taipei American School, the deputy president, and it has been our honor to serve as presidents for MSHRC.
Throughout this weekend, the Middle School Human Rights Council debated two intense topics: measures to combat the use of child labor in agriculture, ensuring humane treatment in prisoners of war.
On the first day of our conference, many delegates were still familiarizing themselves with the rules of procedure and had a few minor problems understanding what the conference was currently doing. However, once we started going deeper into the debates, delegates started coming out of their shells, and with everyone contributing at least once to the conversation on the very first day. Then on the second day, everyone was thriving with questions, speeches, and amendments.
We're proud to announce that throughout the 2 days of conference, we got a total of 191 POIs, 118 speech, 42 amendments with 560 points in total. As PASMUN 2023 being my last time chairing, I'm super grateful to have MSHRC. Special thanks to my co-chair Lynn to be there for me at all times, especially when I'm dozing off due to my lack of sleep. For the delegates, you guys really impressed me with your energy and participation. I hope the best in your MUN career and look forward to see every one of you to become the leader in future conferences.
I have learned a lot from this conference. With this being my first in-person conference I have ever chaired, I had a wonderful experience with our delegates. But without the major help from Lydia that I have received, from helping me with how to chair properly to helping me build the confidence to approach this stage, I would never have enjoyed this conference as much as I would have without her.
Lastly, thank you so much to the Secretariat teams for organizing this conference and making this one of the most memorable MUN experience both of us have experienced. Thank you, PASMUN 2023.
Thank you, Lydia Chen and Lin Yu. Please welcome Middle School General Assembly 1, President Darren Lin and Deputy President Angel Wang.
Honorable Secretariats, Directors, Officers, Delegates, and the dedicated PASMUN press and admin teams. My name is Darren Lin, a junior at Kaohsiung American School. I have had the honor of presiding over Middle School GA1 over this past weekend.
And I'm Angel Wang, a current sophomore from American School in Taichung. Alongside 16 other delegates attending the conference, we as a committee faced many difficulties over the course of the conference.
And sometimes the most intuitive methods do not work out. For the first 2 hours of debate, we tried moderated caucuses, moral encouragement, individual conversations, and all other methods you can think of to alleviate the dryness.
But what worked at the end was Russia's troll amendment on eco-friendly nuclear bombs. We had the delegate of China who submitted so many amendments, among which 0 were passed.
And the delegates of Syria that tried to bribe the chairs with gummy bears. And the delegate of Russia again, who sent jokes on bomb threats through notes to Ukraine, which I accidentally approved. More than anybody else, our delegates made this year's PASMUN especially memorable. We are sincerely proud to say that all of them were actively engaged during debate sessions, defending unique, innovative approaches with urgency.
We hope that the conference will serve as an inspiration for all of you, because only through the genuine will to create a better world can we work towards achieving such a goal.
To our delegates, admins, and secretariats, we are honored to have known you on our MUN journeys. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren Lin and Angel Wang. Please welcome Middle School Sustainable Development Committee President Saya Kaufman and Deputy President Amber Lee.
Diligent directors, honorable secretariats, fellow student officers, press team members, and PASMUN participants. My name is Saya Kaufman, a current senior studying at Shinju International School.
And my name is Amber Lee, a current freshman studying at Isha International School and serving as the Deputy President of the Middle School Sustainable Development Committee. We truly had the honor of serving as the student officers of the Middle School Sustainable Development Committee as PASMUN this year. During the course of the 2 days, our delegates had much fruitful and constructive debates regarding the issues of addressing global water shortages as well as the question of regulating wildlife markets, both extremely pressing issues that needed to be brought to our attention. Throughout the debate, we saw many constructive as well as productive amendments that delegates submitted in hopes of better improving resolutions.
At the beginning of the conference, we were nervous that we would be in a room filled with quiet delegates. However, during the first debate session, we were pleasantly delighted to see delegates speak up and address our discussed issues. With a grand total of 290 points of information, 104 speeches, and 53 amendments, we are incredibly proud of all the delegates for trying their best in expressing their country's stance. It was extremely rewarding for Amber and I to watch our delegates grow to become avid debaters who are well on their way to becoming future leaders.
Thank you, delegates, for being one of the most constructive and active committees we have seen. Most specifically, the delegate of the Syrian Arab Republic, Turkey, Iraq, the USA, as well as the EU for constantly crafting constructive amendments and sparking fruitful debates.
Finally, we would like to thank all the people that made our PASMUN experience possible, including our lovely admins, Ann Chang and Cindy, the PASMUN working team, PASMUN director, Mr. Cook, and most importantly, Enzo, Jeffrey, and Esther for making this such a memorable conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Saya and Amber. Please welcome HRC President Jackie Huang and Deputy President Ray Xia.
Honorable delegates, fellow chairs, and the most esteemed guests. I am Jackie Huang, a junior at Pacific American School and the president of the Human Rights Council this year.
And I am Ray Chia, a sophomore from Kaohsiung American School and a deputy president of HRC. And we cannot believe that PASMUN 2023 is already coming to a close.
For me, it's my last conference of this school year. I'm not a senior yet, so it's all the more shocking that this marks the end of my series of MUN conferences this year.
And as for me, this conference marks the beginning of my chairing journey. This is my first ever conference chairing, and finally being able to sit at the front is truly one of my greatest accomplishments.
Over the weekend, the HRC debated on issues of FGM, or female genital mutilation, and Southeast Asian human trafficking. Although the debate was lukewarm at first, delegates such as Kazakhstan, Malaysia, the US, and the European Union soon heated it up. The topics are volatile and sensitive, yet the delegates were able to explore them in depth and with care.
From the bottom of my heart, it's truly heartwarming to see what our committee has eventually achieved, achieving 412 speaking points in total. From debates about whether Andrew Tate or into debates about whether building a wall would mitigate human trafficking issues, we witnessed as the delegates blossomed and gained unstoppable confidence, making new friends along the way.
Also, huge shout out to our admins, Tiffany and Frank, for being amazingly punctual, responsible, and supportive.
And lastly, we think it would be remiss for us to not thank the Secretariat team for putting this conference together. Their effort is the foundation of our gathering here and all the connections we have made today. And of course, the unparalleled souvenir choices that we received.
We hope everyone walks away with the best memories of PASMUN 2023 and perhaps entertain the idea of returning next year. With that, HRC, peace out!
Thank you, Jackie and Ray. And now let us welcome Security Council President Chen Yuan Li and Deputy President Ivana Li.
Hey? Okay. Respected directors, distinguished secretariat, fellow chairs, esteemed guests, and our amazing admin. My name is Chen Yuan Li, a junior at IBSH and the president of Security Council.
And I am Ivana Li, a junior at TAS and a deputy president. The two issues our committees debated on over the course of this conference were the war in Ukraine and the tensions on the Korean peninsula.
Between a delegate standing up and looking out the window when they heard an ambulance pass by, and the permanent 5 suddenly becoming a permanent 3, the Security Council faced many challenges throughout the course of the 2 days. The Security Council also struggled with passing clauses, with members of the P5 being unable to reach a consensus in multiple P5 caucuses. Despite this, the flow of debate never slowed, and we were pleased to find that all delegates spoke more than 10 times. In fact, the delegate of France may have spoken too many times, because he had more than 8 times the amount of speaker points as some of our delegates.
Delegates were so engaged in debate on the first issue that the committee only had 15 minutes to lobby for issue 2 before we moved into debate. Throughout the conference, we saw all delegates exhibit a passion for change, and the hard work that they showed in our time together resulted in 2 out of 2 resolutions being passed, with debates including total of 307 POIs asked, 79 speeches given, and 37 amendments entertained.
To the delegates of the Security Council, don't be discouraged by our pitiful 18% pass rate for your clauses. It's just difficult to pass clauses punishing Russia if Russia has veto power in your committee. Furthermore, denuclearization in the Korean peninsula is an issue that even delegates from the UN themselves struggle with.
Don't feel discouraged if you feel lost. As long as everyone can actively participate, trying to reach a consensus on pressing world issues, the committee will move even closer towards the goal of navigating the changing tides.
Thank you for making PASMUN 2023 so special.
We hope that you enjoyed this conference as much as we did.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chen Yuan and Ivana. Please welcome General Assembly 1 Head Chair Karina Cheng and Deputy Chair Victor Kang.
Honorable Secretariat,
dignified directors,
skilled student officers,
adept admins,
diligent delegates,
admirable advocates,
J-seeing judges,
passionate press.
and most esteemed guests.
I am Karina Chung.
And I am Victor King.
Together, it has been our honor to serve as the chairs of General Assembly 1 at PASMUN 2023.
Before the conference, we had our reservations about the committee since there were only 17 delegates, only one of which sent his resolution. We envisioned several scenarios where debate would be dead and the delegates completely lost. Thankfully, with 181 POIs, 84 speeches, and 37 amendments, we are confident in saying that debate was everything but dead.
This worry persisted as opening speeches started, though. Many delegates were quieter in their speaking, and we were worried that this timidness would come a lack of participation.
As soon as lobbying started, though, it was clear that many of these delegates were skilled and well-versed in MUN. They were all engaged in conversation and enthusiastic about their issues. Still, though, we were worried about the 5-12 divide between the two topics.
Though some delegates were not able to immediately determine the focus of their draft resolutions, through continuous debate and negotiations with fellow delegates, they were able to finish with 2 resolutions for each topic.
The debate itself became progressively productive and constructive during the 2-day conference. Nearly every delegate submitted amendments, and almost all of them delivered at least one speech and asked one POI.
At GA1 this year, delegates had to tackle the issues of war crimes within modern siege warfare, as well as the security of food supply lines. The concepts concerned in both issues are relatively difficult to grasp in terms of the scopes of their debts, requiring thorough understanding of the principles of international law and international humanitarian law.
We weren't expecting our delegates to be fully capable of debating this issue nor come up with their own unique solutions in the process, but they did exactly that. We were deeply impressed, and we expect great things from them in the future conferences. I would like to thank my head chair, Karina, for providing insightful feedback for my chair report and guiding me through my first conference, filling in when I would miss something.
I would also like to thank my deputy chair, Victor, for his helpful reminders when I would forget to set debate time or overlook other details during the conference. It was truly a pleasure to work with him. Finally, Chair stands corrected. Finally, we would like to thank the Secretariat and all the delegates and admins in our committee for such a memorable conference. We wish you all the best, and we hope to see you all again in the near future.
We would like to end off with the following. GA1 is number one.
Thank you, Karina and Victor. Please welcome General Assembly 3 Head Chair Wei Wei Chow and Deputy Chair Yan Huang.
Honorable Secretariats, distinguished directors, student officers, delegates, and most esteemed guests. My name is Wei Wei, and I'm the head chair of GA3.
My name is Yan Huang, and I'm the deputy president of GA3. And this is our mascot, Lawrence.
And together we had the honor to serve as chairs of General Assembly 3 at PASMUN 2023.
The committee focused on issues of balancing asylum claims, balancing the protection of asylum claims and immigration regulations, and the preservation of linguistic heritage amidst increasing globalization. We are genuinely proud of what the delegates have accomplished the past 2 days. With 161 POIs, 71 speeches, and 38 amendments, GA3 altogether has came up with various creative and thoughtful solutions to tackle the issues. Not to mention UK's proposal of incriminating Santa Claus of human trafficking and smuggling illegal migrants. Throughout our fruitful discussions, we recognize the importance of navigating through multitudes of voices, resolving conflicts and differences, and changing for stability and peace in the future.
With rapid globalization and constant change, many new cultures have been created. However, minority languages and cultures fade as a result. In a time where times and tides are changing, conflicts break out between countries, putting many refugees in jeopardy.
With our delegates debating vigorously to improve their solutions, they navigated through obstacles to find a balance between preserving cultural heritage and their country's identity while providing refugees with protection appropriately.
With countless violent conflicts and suffering happening around the world, it is our responsibility to aim for constant changes, alleviating pain, reaching equalities in every corner of this planet. We would like to give a big thank you to our directors, secretariat team, admin, and our delegates. Thank you for such a wonderful and eventful weekend. It has been our utmost pleasure to have had this opportunity, and we hope it was memorable for all delegates as well. 3, 2, 1.
GA3,
GA3.
slay.
Hey, you have to do that, thanks.
Thank you, Wei Wei and Yan. Please welcome General Assembly 4 Head Chair Tammy Xu and Deputy Chair Kingston Yu.
honorable directors, diligent secretariats, fellow chairs, and well-mannered delegates. My name is Kingston Yu, a sophomore from Pacific American School, and it is my utmost pleasure to serve as a deputy chair of GA4 with the topic ensuring nuclear safety.
And my name is Tammy Shu, a sophomore from Asian American International Academy, and it's my honor to serve as the head chair of this year's PASMUN General Assembly Forum on the question of Palestinian statehood.
We know you guys are tired from the last few hours of debate, but please bear with us and spare us a few minutes as we share the fulfilling yet chaotic stories from our committee.
On February 18th, 4:29 p.m., a tragedy much like the Chernobyl nuclear disaster descended upon our peaceful committee.
Dun dun dun.
A standard procedure of pulling the projector screen down became a catastrophe once a certain delegate underestimated her own strength.
Bam! Dramatic fall. As I walked into our committee room, two creatures were holding onto a fallen projector screen as I watched my life and my immune career flash before me.
And the same happened to me as I stared at the screen in my hand. My first chair experience. Will this also be my last? But alas, this year's theme was put into good use as we navigated through this tide and adapted to the crisis.
Despite the numerous obstacles we have encountered throughout the last 2 days, we're so glad to see our delegates slowly grow out of their comfort zones. We've witnessed quality debate and hours of hard work, but more importantly, we saw the beams on our delegates' face and heard laughter around every corner of our committee. To us, watching our delegates flourish and thrive fulfills our intention of serving as student officers.
To the admins and secretariats, thank you for dedicating your hard work into the preparation of the conference. Tammy says she's really sorry for turning in her chair report late, same for me. And aside from that, we are proud to announce that every single delegate in GA4 has over 6 tally points and that no ChatGPT was used in the process of speech making. Delegates demonstrated great originality and critical thinking. We can express our gratitude and pride for all of you.
Lastly, we hope this sense of belonging found at MU1 will continue to push our delegates forward with their journey of debate. Thank you all for this unforgettable weekend.
Thank you, Tammy and Kingston. Please welcome the United Nations Environment Program President Hubert Huang and Deputy President Ivy Malster.
Honorable Secretariats, distinguished delegates, welcome guests, diligent admins, fellow student officers, and respected working team. I'm Hubert Huang, a sophomore at Pacific American School.
And I'm Ivy Molster, a sophomore at Taipei Kuishan School. We are honored to serve as your chair for this year's United Nations Environment Program.
Resilience, as defined by the Oxford Dictionary, is the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties, or in this context, the ability for people to navigate the changing tides and difficult circumstances while remaining enthusiastic and optimistic. We are proud to say that the delegates in the UNEP accomplished nothing short of the feat of showing incredible resilience and creativity when faced with adapting to the changing tides of geopolitics.
In this committee, we discussed 2 issues, addressing the issue of global energy shortage and addressing the impacts of pollution on marine ecosystems. These issues seem like one-faced problems, while they actually contain unmistakable influence of the tides of major geopolitical conflicts. We were impressed with the delegates' ability to propose creative amendments to these challenging global issues.
Although our committee is called the United Nations Environment Program, it quickly turned into the United Nations Sanctions Program, as delegates remained enthusiastic in attempting to throw around sanctions at each other.
By the end of day 2, delegates again used their imaginations and decided to switch things up by automatically turning the UNEP to the General Assembly and electing Vladimir Putin as the new head of UNEP. But jokes aside, they made constructive and unique solutions that has the potential to impact the world we live in.
With all delegates contributing 159 POIs, 64 speeches, and 37 amendments, they showed their enthusiasm for not only Model UN, but also their resilience in adapting to the conference. From calling 3 unmoderated caucuses within the first 30 minutes on the first day, to speaking so much that they were denying us a break.
To the delegates of UNEP, we wish that your passion and enthusiasm for MUN and coming up with creative amendments and solutions is never diminished. Thanks to our admin, Nico, who worked diligently every time to check all votes. Finally, to the diligent secretariats, working team, and everyone else, thank you for making this year's PASMUN such a memorable conference for both of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hubert and Ivy. Now please welcome ECOSOC President Hubert Chung and Deputy President Justin Tsai.
Honorable chairs, fellow delegates, and most esteemed guests. My name is Hubert Chang.
And I'm Justin Tsai. It has been my pleasure to serve as the chair for this year's PASMUN ECOSOC committee alongside my amazing chair Hubert. The efforts you have all demonstrated in the past 2 days reflect exactly the spirit of this conference, that is, to navigate the changing tides. You have all demonstrated the critical response skills and international understanding that you have garnered in your Model United Nations career. But most importantly, we are both immensely proud that no ChatGPT, you broke my joke, and has been involved in the hundreds of speeches and documents that you have drafted. I did not count the number of speeches because I failed my high school math. And you have all relied on yourselves and believed in yourselves. We are very thankful for this experience, and we hope that this conference serves as a stepping stone for your MUN career and that you will inherit this amazing MUN community of ours that Hubert and I are sadly retiring from. I wish all the best to you in your future endeavors, and I look forward to meeting you again. And thank you to the amazing Secretariat for organizing such a, well, organized conference. Thank you to the admin staff. Thank you to the lunch for being so delicious. And thank you to myself for waking up in the morning to catch the HSR. And thank you, Hubert.
Hello, everyone. So it's my turn to speak now. I'm going a little unscripted here, so just bear with me if I kind of tangent off. So first, I'd like to thank the Secretariat team for letting me have this opportunity at PASMUN. As Justin said earlier, this is going to be my last, probably my last MUN if I don't attend anymore, and definitely my last time chairing. So this was a really good experience. I actually went into this not really expecting to be like too super enthusiastic because I mostly came here to just like see people, but I ended up coming. I know, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. So when I heard I was going to be in ECOSOC, I wasn't expecting much. ECOSOC usually has very tame debates, but what ended up happening in ECOSOC was definitely not what I expected. We had simply some of the most weirdest like events happen. Like we had an entire meme amendment that was just like, that was, yeah. I don't really want to get into it here, but yeah, that was a lot. So you know, my delegates would know. Back to the topic of this being my last MUN. So it's been a long time since I started MUN. It's been around 4 or 5 years, and I just thought, I was looking back when I was listening to all the other chairs speak, and I thought this has been a really good experience, and I've really learned a lot about myself and public speaking especially. I've grown a lot of confidence since I started doing MUN, and that's kind of what I wanted to pass down to the delegates today. For delegates, for the first time delegates in my committee, I hope I was a good chair to you, and I hope I was a good role model to you, despite all the catastrophe that happened in the second day today when the delegate of Germany returned from being kidnapped by ICJ yesterday. So yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much. Thank you, PASMUN, for letting me have this opportunity, and thank you.
Thank you, Hubert and Justin. Please welcome the Advisory Panel President Aurora Huang and Deputy President Ryuka Goto.
respected directors, distinguished secretariats, fellow chairs, competent delegates and experts, esteemed guests, diligent press team, and our amazing admins. My name is Aurora Huang, a sophomore at Pacific American School and the president of the advisory panel.
And my name is Ryoka Goto, a junior at IBSH and the deputy president of the advisory panel.
This year, the APQ debated two pertinent questions: post-conflict economic and social recovery and women's rights in South Asia and the Middle East. Particularly controversial was the issue of women's rights, as many Islamic fundamentalist countries such as Taliban-controlled Afghanistan and Iraq were present in the committee. The experts of these nations never went off stance, except perhaps to criticize women a little too strongly, mostly remaining diplomatic despite their controversial stances. The experts also learned to use their opponents' tactics against them. By the end of the debate, nations who support women's rights had accused Middle Eastern nations of forcing Islam on their citizens, and those nations had accused the US and Europe of forcing their culture on the Middle East. Similarly, both sides managed to find and quote extracts of the Quran that supported their own stances.
Despite the initial difficulty, our experts quickly picked up on the different procedures that APQ followed, from drafting amendments at a fast pace, at once submitting 6 amendments for a single controversial clause, to learning to work with unanimous voting, and at times abusing it by handling it like a veto threat. Our experts were the smartest and the best we could ever ask for. Within these last 2 days, multiple delegates mistook us as the approval panel. We watched delegates swim on the floor to demonstrate navigating the changing tides. Barney danced with his friends, and we can't be more thankful for the memorable weekend.
We thank our experts for living up to their title and for making both of our first times chairing for APQ a memorable and interesting experience. And this is not on the script, but I would also like to thank my deputy president, Ryoka, for voice chatting with me for 2 hours before, like the night before the conference, while we navigated the tides of the obscure APQ procedure.
We're also so thankful for everyone who helped this conference, who helped put this conference together, and we're so proud of our experts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aurora and Ryoka. Please welcome Youth Action Committee President Chloe Lau, Deputy President Aurora Lee, and Deputy President Jason Yang.
Honorable chairs, fellow delegates, admins, advisors, and most esteemed guests. My name is Arali, a junior in Ivy Collegiate Academy. In Youth Act Committee, the panelists have discussed the topics of political polarization, regulation of free speech, and activism. Within their classes, taxing more on the richest and funding poverty on the adaptation of progressive taxing system that has begun the built intention. They have argued over the correlation between freedom of speech and hate speech, possibility in allowing sanctions to social media, exploring the boundaries of military usage in physical and verbal aggression as a whole. Panelists have submitted numerous constructive amendments to flourish the debate with energy. Thanks to Chloe and Jason for the assistance they have provided.
Hello, I'm Chloe Lau. I'm 16. You don't even know my age. Sorry, I'm a junior at Type American School, and the committee of YAC was dead for a good 10 minutes. But after a great speech by my deputy president, they were resurrected from the dead. So we had a total of 180 POIs, 85 speeches, and 25 amendments. Yeah, the number seems small after a bunch of these committees, but we only had 9 delegates, so suck it. Some honorable mentions was Amy Wang, Ella Gui, Annie Wu, and Celine Chen, and Joey Lee, who made up more than 80% of all speeches. Special recognition to Amy Wang, who not only enacted the first speech, but also supplied the debate with big, fat amendments. There, however, was an amendment made to gun down protesters to for the benefit of the censorship of media, which was almost passed because of the inactivity of our room. We assure the House that we are a well-functioning committee and that what matters is ultimately the journey and not the destination. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jason. I'm a sophomore from Shinji County American School. I want to thank my co-chair and head chair, Aurora and Chloe. I was truly lucky to have a supportive and experienced team. Thank you both for making my first chairing experience so memorable, as well as the delegates that made this debate possible. Overall, the three topics of political polarization, freedom of speech, and charting responsible activism were thoroughly debated by our youngsters. With so few panelists, they were surprisingly eager to speak and make their opinions be known. Thank you, panelists, for putting up with us, our jokes, and our against speeches. Also, a thank you to Fiona and Hannah for joining our debate at the end and contributing to the discussion. You truly made this conference memorable and unique. Furthermore, thank you, secretariats, directors, and everyone else that made this conference possible. It was truly an unforgettable experience.
We gotta do this because of a chair there. Ready?
Yeah, chair there.
3, 2, 1.
Floof out.
Thank you, Chloe, Aurora, and Jason. And finally, please welcome the International Court of Justice President Ethan Skolicki, President Devin Kong, and Registrar Shannon Yen.
Hello. Honorable Secretariats, respectable advocates and judges, directors, officers, delegates, PASMUN press, and admin teams. Ever heard of the saying, save the best for last? My name is Ethan Skolicki.
Devin Kang.
And Shannon Yen.
Together we chair the ICJ, known to other chairs as a kidnapper of delegates. In view of the theme navigating the changing tides, we entertain the case Australia v. Japan, which is a trial that disputes whether Japan is commercially or scientifically whaling in the Antarctic.
Navigating the changing tides implies that we're never at the end of the line. From the Security Council's issue of the war in Ukraine to YSC's issue of regulating free speech in the information age, it is of course reasonable to think that we're in an ever-changing world. And that is exactly what the ICJ is for, to give member nations a chance to peacefully settle disputes and any issues that arise in our dynamic world. ICJ is a committee like no other. Instead of delegates, we have advocates and judges. Instead of resolutions, we have memorandums and evidence lists. ICJ's debate structure is filled with intense, fruitful debate, which can be said for most other committees, which means our advocates and judges need to do 2 times the amount of preparation to even be able to participate in debate.
Our thanks goes to our amazing and hardworking advocates and judges. Thank you to Judge Lee, Judge Lee, Judge Lee, Judge Fu, Judge Chung, Judge Yang, and Judge Xu. We'd also like to thank the applicant advocates Lee and Hu and respondent advocates Stokes and Chu. Prior to the conference, both applicants and respondents compiled evidence lists, memorandums, and prepared their witnesses. We were very happy with the cases presented in the past 2 days, and both sides gave very convincing opening and closing speeches. We were also very content with the energy the judges showed. They all avidly participated in the process of judge deliberation. We were especially impressed when both judge questioning and advocate crossfire went over the time that we had anticipated. However, we had a total of 0 POIs, 0 amendments, and 0 passed resolutions, but 1 finalized verdict. Overall, we were very satisfied with the weekend's debate, and thank you, judges and advocates, for making this trial so interesting.
Secondly, we'd like to give a shout out to our lovely registrar, Shannon Yen. We understand that being a registrar is especially tiring. However, Shannon worked tirelessly and never once complained. Even when the witness was speaking really fast, she always tried to record every word they said. During the conference, we referred back to the registrar multiple times, and Shannon always had the answers for us. Furthermore, she performed excellently when asked to chair for a few witness testimonies and crossfire debate sessions. Thus, we are very thankful and grateful for her efforts and presence. Next, we would like to thank our admins.
Thank you, Admin Skolicki.
And thank you, Admin Devin, both of these admins were very hardworking and made up the ICJ's otherwise non-existent admins. Jokes aside, we too are truly very essential in ensuring smooth operations and convenient transitions in ICJ.
Unfortunately, though, our committee experienced a depressing shortage of Enzo, and we're truly saddened by the lack of his charismatic presence. Now, for the awaited verdict. Upon deliberation, the court finds that 1, whereas the conducting of whaling to supply the domestic market for whale meat would not constitute scientific whaling for the purposes of Article 8, based on the language used in Article 8 itself, as stated in the International Panel of Independent Legal Experts on special permit whaling under international law. 2, whereas Article 8 of the International Convention on Whaling states that permit may only be given for the purposes of scientific research.
Therefore, the International Court of Justice orders, adjudges, and decrees that 1, Japan's special permits granted to authorize whaling is not for scientific purposes. 2, Japan ceases their commercial whaling activities effective immediately. 3, require Japan to significantly increase investment into rebuilding deep-sea biodiversity and the marine environment to compensate for the damage to marine life they have caused through commercial whaling. And 4, the IWC has to revise its compliance and enforcement program to ensure that countries that continue commercial whaling are punished accordingly. With that being said, we now announce the PASMUN ICJ case closed. Now, with that being said, both me, Shannon, and Devin only have one question left. Where's Jay?
Okay, House, please come to order. Thank you, chairs. And now, please welcome the PASMUN Tribune Editor-in-Chief, Iris Chen and Christine Cao.
Hello, directors, delegates, admin staff, press team, secretariat, and other valued guests. My name is Christine Cao, a senior at PAS.
My name is Iris Chen, a senior at PAS.
And it's our privilege to be the editors-in-chief for the PASMUN Tribune this year, especially with our 2023 conference theme, Navigating the Changing Tides. I'm sure all of you have already heard our Honorable Secretary General Esther Duan's speech during the opening ceremony. But for us, we feel that the navigation of uncertain and changing tides, which have the potential to swallow the world, is especially relevant given the core values of MUN, as well as the chaos that continues to plague our global society. From international affairs to personal issues, life in of itself has always been defined by ebbing and flowing currents of chaos. But PASMUN reminds us that these tides can be weathered through collaboration. Delegate, admin, director, secretariat, or press member, all of us work together to contribute in some way to PASMUN's success. Our press team has been working tirelessly from mid-December in order to present the best version of PASMUN Tribune that we could.
With our diligent and creative team members, we are happy to announce that we successfully published issue 1 and 2 during these 2 days. Thanks to Amber Huang, Megan Liu, Rachel Liu, Leah Liu, and Raymond Lee for writing great articles for both highlighting our theme and the intense debates. Thanks to Melanie Liu, Anna Yang, Corinne Ho, Joyce Lin, and Amy Liu for designing the creative layouts so that our writers' hard work can be seen. During the process, our great teamwork couldn't be possible without our photographers. Thanks to Melissa Liu, Irene Huang, Valerie Shell, Stephen Wang, and Iri Otto for taking photos throughout the day and documenting the great moments of this conference. In addition, we EICs would like to thank the videographers, which include Sandy Chen, Vincent Wu, and Joshua Chen, for producing high-quality videos for PASMUN. Each member of the press team has been working endlessly during these 2 days, not only for PASMUN to be remembered, but also to provide a platform for the conference-related issues to be recognized.
Without them, we EICs would not have been able to produce these great works. PASMUN 2023 has been a great final experience for both of us seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, Christine and Iris. Now we'll be playing the sustainability video produced by the PASMUN Tribune videographers.
We need to learn, how to protect the earth in order to have the sustainability of the life. Inspired by Arthur Huang's great work,
we are constantly producing loads of
how he focused on his life after he graduated from Harvard to only work on using the waste for upcycling and remaking the stuff in order to reduce the carbon dioxide. I was determined to make that into our education, to raise that kind of awareness of sustainability from the little one up. Would you agree how we can turn the waste into such a beautiful product in the real life? We need to learn,
Okay, so now we'll be playing the closing video produced again by the PASMUN Tribune videographers.
We were staying in Paris to get away from your parents, and I thought, wow, if I could take this in a shot right now, I don't think that we could work this out on the terrace. I don't know if it's fair, but I thought, how could I let you fall by yourself? Well, I'm wasted with someone else. If we go down, then we go down together. They'll say you could do anything, they'll say that I was clever. If we go down, then we go down together. We'll get away with everything. Let's show them we are better. Let's show them we are better. Let's show them we are better. We were staying in Paris to get away from your parents. You look so proud, standing there with a frown and a cigarette, posting pictures of yourself on the internet, out on the terrace. We breathe in the air of this small town, on our own, cutting glass with the thrill of it, getting drunk on the past we were living in. If we go down, then we go down together. They'll say you could do anything, they'll say that I was clever. If we go down, then we go down together. We'll get away with everything. Let's show them we are better.
Let's show them we are. Show them we are. Show them we are. Show them we are.
Let's show them we are better. We were staying in Paris. They'll say you could do anything, they'll say that I was clever. If we go down, then we go down together. We'll get away with everything. Let's show them we are better. You're staying in Paris. We were staying in Paris. We were staying in Paris. We were staying in Paris. Let's show them we are better.
And now, please welcome the Executive Administrative Officers, Jean Tsai and Allison Chen.
Dear delegates, Chair, Director, Press, guests, and my esteemed admin team. My name is Jean Tsai, a senior at Pacific American School, and I serve as the Executive Administrative Officer at PASMUN 2023. This year, with COVID crisis ebbing, we were finally able to welcome everyone back to a physical conference. As exciting as it was for our school, it also marked a great challenge for us. From managing the logistic of a hybrid conference to ensuring smooth communication and technical systems. The task of organizing this conference was not easy. I would like to give my special thanks to Aster, Jeffrey, Enzo, and Blake for sharing the administrative preparation work and taking care of technical matters, month-end events, and staying after school every day as the event approached. And also Ben and QA for helping us throughout the entire process. PASMUN 2023 would not have been as successful as it was without you guys. As well as my partner, Allison, for being extremely dedicated and supported from the start. Lastly, I would like to thank our 22 admin staff with all the difficulties and challenges we have encountered this year. You guys have tried to make the best out of it.
My name is Allison Chen, a junior at Pacific American School. As a Deputy Administrative Officer for PASMUN 2023, I'm honored to have served alongside Jean, who has been an excellent partner and guide throughout the entire process. I would also like to express my gratitude to all those who put in the best effort to prepare for this conference. Without everyone's hard work and dedication, PASMUN 2023 would not have been possible. As of this year, we have recruited many admins who do not have prior experience in any MUN events. Despite this, their willingness to help during both preparation and conference has made this event a success. And we sincerely hope that this experience was meaningful to all those who participated. I owe my biggest thanks to all these unnamed and white-shirted admins of PASMUN 2023.
Lastly, I hope you guys all enjoy PASMUN 2023, and it will be a great honor for us to welcome you all again for next year's PASMUN.
Thank you.
And now let's welcome our PASMUN advisor, Mr. Zachary Cook.
Okay, hello everyone, I'm here again. It does not feel like it was only yesterday that I was up here talking to you. What a difference a couple days makes. I'm sure that many, if not all of you, at least you newcomers, have grown tremendously since yesterday. Throughout yesterday, at least the beginning of the day, debates were a little bit dead, I believe. Chairs were saying debates were dead, but by today, things were lively. I believe everything was more vibrant. People got their stride, and people grew a lot. Now, if 2 days makes this big of a difference, imagine how much a year can make. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of this, you will grow to heights that you probably can't even imagine right now, because I'm watching many of you chairs who were just young pups very recently, in my mind, are, pros now. Okay, so I'm very proud of all of you. I'm very proud of my team. You ran a mostly smooth conference, and as I told you earlier, it would not be the experience it is if there weren't a few crises to manage. That's kind of what it's all about. Okay, we got through it, and we're all stronger for it, so thank you. I'm very proud, and please come again next year.
And now, let us welcome our PASMUN Attorney General, Enzo Xu.
Honorable directors, officers, press, delegates, admins, and litigants. Well, hi there. every time, well, at least most of the times I step foot into an MUN conference, I tend to wonder the connection between what I'm about to debate and what the overarching theme is. MUN topics, to sum up in a perhaps excessively simple phrase, are there for one purpose: to make the world a better place. Yet looking at committee issues tackle topics in retrospect, such as reacting to the sudden invasion of a country or tackling the extreme forms of youth activism, I tend to beg to differ, especially with the ICJ, which is the committee I tend to be involved with, where results are punitive. I tend to think that instead of making the world a better place, perhaps we only just are trying to prevent the world from getting worse. Okay, that about ends all I have pre-written, so with ECOSOC and GA4 proudly proclaiming it, I can't chat GPT my way out of here. But improvising, I suppose, captures the essence of just what we all go through throughout the past 2 days, regardless of delegation, regardless of committee, regardless of position. It can be as minuscule as being confronted with your POI on HRC's mutilation issue, or as significant as walking into a committee room and seeing that a projector screen has fallen off. But it all eventually leads back to one central arcing theme, which is our ability to adapt and improvise in sudden situations. As now an exact 10-time conference goer, I like to think that I have seen my fair share of conference themes. And while it did leave each conference with some sort of a niche message on that specialized theme, it always does reinforce me with the importance of how in MUN clauses and concepts of amending, enacting, delimiting, regulating, or prohibiting are all eventually manifestations of adapting to continuous waves of change. And so, hence this year's theme, navigating the changing tides. I hope that all of you can leave this conference knowing that you have adapted. Perhaps you've passed an amendment, perhaps you have liberated a fellow YSC panelist, perhaps you've written a good press article, and perhaps you won a court verdict. You have in some way adapted. So perhaps stopping the world from becoming worse is just good enough, since biologically we adapt to continue living, not necessarily to live better. Realistically, I will say that no, adapting to this one conference doesn't always guarantee that you will adapt to the next one or so many coming things to come in the future. But adaptation can't be learned. It's just what we do. It's what we keep on doing. So concluding at this conference, I hope that you keep doing and you do it by how you do you. Thank you.
Thank you, Enzo. And now, finally, let us welcome our PASMUN Secretary General, Esther Tuan.
Honorable chairs, distinguished delegates, diligent admins, and the most esteemed guests. When I first started writing this speech, I was stuck. But thinking back on my experience for the past few days, I realized I have something special to say to everyone. And I'm going to say it in the most simplest and most sincere way. Firstly, I want to give a huge thanks to all the chairs who diligently handle all kinds of situations in the committee. Despite certain one of you steal my taxi during chair training, you guys truly set the tone for this conference. Shout out to Ben, Chiwei, and Jim, who support us until Friday midnight to ensure that our note passing system runs smoothly. Also thanks to Blake, Willie, Alan, Tristan, Joshua, Sean, and Thomas, who stay until midnight to rehearse ceremonies and respond to all kinds of tech issues during conference. And to all my admin staffs, you guys really did an extraordinary job. Even though you guys bomb our group chat with extension cord requests, Wi-Fi crisis, we love to work with each and every one of you. At the Friday night before conference, even though we have a few manpower, you guys still managed to finish all the setup at such an impressive speed, which according to Mr. Cook, break the historical records of PASMUN prep. I'm so glad that all of our effort has blossomed into a smooth conference. Mr. Cook, I think it goes without saying that to us, you're much more than a teacher, but the best partner in this whole event planning process. And now, to my secretariat team member, Jean, Allison, Enzo, and Jeffrey, who spent hours and hours to make this conference come true. Everything that you see here today, starting from the small packs of snack that we distributed, the 300 badges and placards, to this closing ceremony, represented months of thoughtful planning and execution, plus many Uber orders and many coffee intakes. Additionally, I want to give special thanks to Enzo and Jeffrey for dealing with my glitches, not only for the past few months, but ever since freshman year. From the famous typo of Philippines 3 years ago, to accidentally spelling Jordan wrong on the spreadsheet and cause another round of placard printing,
We have all grown so much, yet history never ceased to repeat itself. Lastly, to each and every one of the delegates, congratulations on completing this conference. Every time I watch you guys debate, it just reminds me that MU1 is so much more than comparing tally points. It is to argue, to negotiate, to cooperate, to strike, to add, to modify, to veto a clause, to wishes to remain actively seized, to vote against, and to finally reach a consensus and clapping as in order. These are much more than skills that only apply to your Google Doc resolutions, but skills that are critical for you to thrive and grow in high school, in universities, and in any other endeavors that you are bound to be met in the 21st century. At first glance, this might seem to be just an ordinary weekend for you, but I can say with confidence that you will have taken home something worth reminiscing, whether it be a renewed confidence, sharpened skills, or the beautiful coaster. Regardless of the path that you are bound to take in the future, you will continue to embrace new ideas, form new opinions, and you will continue to navigate the changing tides. Because MUN is just the beginning. Thank you. And now, as the Secretary General
and the Deputy Secretary General,
we now declare PASMUN 2023 officially closed.